I believe that thing's a couple 100 pounds. So it might get interesting. We'll see. Just another beautiful day. You can hear somebody firing shots off in the distance. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, back to the garage. So last night we got the head out of Caitlin. We got that whole thing torn apart. Had a little snafu there, which we're going to talk about here in a second. And you know what? Screw this. It's like 70 degrees out. It's a beautiful day. I think there is something missing now. What could it be? You know what? That's it. Right there. Four-wheeler action. Let's get out there. Let's get in the woods. Enjoy the rest of the sunlight we got on this 70-degree day before it gets all shitty out. And then we'll get to dealing with all the garage stuff. Safety first. Freestand. Bathtub. Even got the kitchen sink out here. Yep, a little bit of ruins. Yeah, old stone wall. All kinds of shit. They've been running through here. A little blood. Timmy didn't fall down the well. That's good. Well, that was fun. I don't know if you guys can hear, and I know you probably can't see it, but it started raining. Got a nice little ride in. Enough to get a little bludgeoned by the prickers, but whatever. Yeah, I'm glad we got a chance to enjoy that nice weather, that little taste of spring and summer, because from now until Monday, all the way through the weekend, nothing but rain. Oh, that's going to suck. After the last 2 days being nice, that's really going to blow. But, oh well, it's February. We had 2 70-degree days in a row. That's fucking good by me. So tonight we're going to be, cleaning the head up, taking the exhaust manifold off, taking a couple sensors out, taking this coolant line out. Another thing, I want to take this bracket off. I looked up the part number. If anybody knows anything about it, let me know. It's called an injection line seal. I guess it's to protect this connector tube and number 6 injection line. But really, in the truck, I guess maybe it's in there when they put the motors in. But all it does is kind of get in the way of getting that connector tube out and getting this oil return. So we're going to take that off. We're going to clean the head up because, it's still got oil in it. We want to clean that up. So we're not just giving the guy at the machine shop an awful mess. We're going to be using Miller's in Oxford, Pennsylvania. I just spoke to the guy the other day for the first time, so we'll see how that all goes. But they're very well known. Check them out on the Instagram. He's always putting up pictures of Cummins and Duramax builds they're doing. But we're going to start off tonight. I have a buddy stopping by. He's actually going to grab Caitlin's old chrome bumper off me. He wants fog lights, holes for his truck. I guess he's going to drop off one that doesn't have any fog light holes, which we might end up putting on the race truck eventually. I haven't decided yet, but he asked me if I'd swap him. And honestly, since Caitlin got her color match, that thing's just been sitting in my shed. So we're going to swap him for that. And like I said, maybe it'll go on a race truck. Let me know what you think. Like on the race truck, we just have the open holes where the fog lights were. But first things first, we're going to, before he gets here, we're going to talk about the bear in the room from last night, our little rigging incident that we had that I fucked up. It was my fuck up. It's something I should have noticed, and I do know better. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out yesterday's video, because that's the reason our fan shroud looks like this. So, if anybody needs a used fan shroud, low miles, it's got 54,000 miles on it, a little beat up here and there, but we could probably duct tape that back together. No, that's garbage. We're going to get a new one of them. So that's where we're at. I'm going to pull this bumper out of the shed for him so we have it when he gets here, and then we'll talk about our head rigging issue thing. Alright, so I got the bumper for my buddy. I'm going to actually clean it up a little bit, just make sure everything's fine. When it was pulled, I should say, it was mint, but I just want to double check it for him. I'll just Windex it or some dumb shit like that. But let's talk about this little incident we had last night, which I'll replay now. I got the head sitting up a little bit just so I can show you guys kind of what happened last night. So what happened was I put our hooks on this hook, which when you're rigging, really you'd never hook something to a hook. Another hook that is. It's not the way to do it. Let's put it that way. So what happened was we had this thing sitting at a hard angle like that. So this come along here was pulling this way, and all that was keeping it from coming in was this mouse right here, which is supposed to be right there, keeping something from easily sliding off. Like if you go loose for a second and then you get taut, it just keeps something from popping off your hook. Well, we were actually loaded up against that, and so it was pulling, and as soon as I touched it, I let go, and finally it was just enough force, it actually bent the mouse. And if you listen to the video, something fell on the ground, and I have to say there's a spring on there, but there's probably like another piece to it that was there with the spring. Well, needless to say, this is the wrong way to do it. I know better, but I just wanted to get the thing off, and I just wasn't paying attention to it. So I'll set it down. I'll show you how we should have done it. How we did it after that with just hooking onto the chain was fine too, because we're coming off a solid point. But an even better way to do that would just be to bypass the hook altogether and just have two links of chain and just hook the two individual links. So the right way to do it, the way I should have done it, was I should have had a shackle on the hook. And somebody actually commented on yesterday's video already and said that, but I should have had a shackle on there, because you can pull with this however you want. It's still going to stay pulling straight down on the, it's still going to be pulling straight down on the hook here. So, you know, we can crank this thing up, we can get it level, we can get it all out of whack. It doesn't matter. It's just going to maybe ride up the shackle a little bit, but we're going to still be pulling off that shackle and it'll still sit right in the hook. So that's how I should have done it. Like I said, I was kind of rushing a little bit, wasn't paying attention. I was a little bit worried about the headroom, which, you know, your vertical height, which come to find out when we had this thing, so the ass end was sitting down, we actually had plenty of headroom to get the head out without removing the fan shroud. But since we're going to be pulling the fan shroud and the fan anyway, I'm just going to leave them out because I actually broke that pulling the last head stud out, putting all that pressure on it. So this is how I should have done it, and I just got a couple 1/4 ton come-alongs. So 1/4 ton basically is straight out with a come-along. When you're talking about rigging, there's a thing called sling leg tension, and basically all that's saying is the straighter this gets, the more tension this leg sees. It can be upwards of double, you know, depending on how tight you get to something. So we got 2 1/4 ton come-alongs. That means we're good for a 1/2 ton, you know, straight out, 1,000 pounds. The motor itself weighs 1,000 pounds. I know that's kind of ridiculous to think that this little thing, or these two little things together could pick that whole motor if they were straight up and down, but they could. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't like saying that, but by rights, you should be able to do it if you rig it correctly, and not have too much like a sling leg tension. So another thing, and I think I did this last night, as you can see my hooks are actually opposite here. That's the correct way to rig something. Like if you're hooking something on for a transfer or whatever, you'll always hook the opposite way of the other hook. I can't remember the exact reason why at this point, but that's just something you automatically do. You know, if you're picking something up and you're going to transfer it to another chain block or another come along, you just put the hook on the opposite way. It's just a fundamental thing that you do. So I'm going to set this back down. I hope that wasn't too drawn out. I hope you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. Much better way to do it. I could have gone off the chain, but this is how it'll be going back in. So I'll set this down. I'm going to clean that bumper up for my buddy, and we'll get to cleaning the head up and all the other stuff. Alright, so my buddy came over, he dropped off the chrome bumper. It is a little dirty, but it is brand new. But we have no more holes for fog lights. Like I said, the bumper that he got is the original steel chrome bumper off of Caitlin. So maybe we'll be putting that in a race truck. Just get rid of them holes. I mean, it should look a little better. I got the cylinder head on its side, trying to drain some of the oil out. Got all the plugs and brackets off. So here's the bottom of the cylinder head if you've never seen one. Just a flat, basic looking thing. Nothing fancy at all. You know, you hear about Hemi heads and stuff like that in cars, but not on a Cummins. We'll just give you a flat piece of cast iron. Why not? And as I believe all their heads are. Brazil. So we got that all draining out, making more of a mess. I'll spray it down with some degreaser. But we've got another issue. As you can see, I have some oil here, some ATF, and the engine hoist is apart. So while me and my buddy were talking, he was over for a while. We were just talking about trucks and shit like that. Exchanged the bumpers. I did notice that the jack kind of, you know, it went down. It wasn't holding the weight of the head or nothing, but it slowly crept down. And didn't think nothing of it, figuring jacks do that, whatever. I couldn't get it to jack back up. When you jack it, you know, the arm would come up a little and then it would come down. So every time you jack, you maybe gain 1/8 of an inch, like really weird. So tried adding some fluid to it, all this. Needless to say, I can't get it to fucking work. I guess that fucking thing's got to come apart. And it was just working fine yesterday. You guys saw that. It was working great. So I don't know what the hell's up with it, what ails it. It's getting late. It's a school night. So I'm going to spray down the head and try and figure out some sort of way to get it in the back of the truck. So far I'm drawing a blank, other than trying to just pick it up. I believe that thing's a couple 100 pounds. So it might get interesting. We'll see. Oh, we got this! Fuck, that motherfucker ain't too bad. Shit. Jack's broke, but I got a solution. Alright, when the jack's broke, just pick the son of a bitch up. Boys and girls, not all of you should try that at home. It isn't light, but it's not that bad. I think it's probably a little bit lighter than a 48 RE, if I had to guess. Just a tad. But we got her in the back of the truck. I'll throw some straps on it in case old Moby Dick here decides to be a wild child tomorrow on the way in to work. And hopefully tomorrow afternoon we'll be at the machine shop. Don't need you. Well, not till the head comes back, that's at least for sure. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Really didn't get everything accomplished I wanted to. I really wanted to start going through the stuff on the table, cleaning some stuff up. But hey, nobody come over, hung out, whatever. But we did get the head cleaned up. We got it kind of stripped of everything I think we need to. And you learned what I did wrong when I picked it the other night in the truck, and why we have a completely destroyed fan shroud, which I will remind you once again, well, I broke earlier in the night. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, subscribe to the channel. Get out in your garage, get to working on your truck, and if you don't feel like hitting the gym, just pick up a couple cylinder heads. Catch you guys on the next one.